episode of Real Money Matters, where we talk about matters of money. I come to you every week, let you know that your money matters. It matters what you make. It matters what you earn. It matters what you save. It matters how you manage the money that has been entrusted to you. And I enjoy coming to you every week just to discuss these matters concerning our finances, because it's a very important part of our life. Every day that we get up, even when we go to bed, we need money, and it's just the truth. A wise man in the Bible said, Solomon, says that money answers all things. And it's not the answer to things, but it answers the occasions to our life, to our daily living. So call someone, let them know that Real Money Matters is on the internet, live, here to discuss matters today. We've been talking about a number of subjects, so I want you to get comfortable. Get your favorite cup of Java. What is that? I'll say that every week. What is Java? Somebody might know that's coffee, y'all. So get coffee if you drink coffee, juice, water, whatever it is. Get some notes. Take some notes, please. I encourage you to jot down notes, tips, as I begin to discuss to you about matters concerning our finances. We want you to write them down. Don't just listen. Don't just write it out. I want you to participate in the process. You're going to have to actively participate in the process of getting your finances in order. And you're going to feel so much better. You're going to be so relieved to know that you have told your money where to go, because guess what? If you don't tell it where to go, it's going to leave without your permission. I encourage you and I admonish you today. Get your financial house in order. It's going to bring peace in other areas of your life. It's going to cause you to be able to help others and be a blessing. It's going to help you to be able to save for your future. We just have to learn a discipline to help us to manage our money better. We can take control. You're the administrator of your life. You're the administrator of your finances, and you can do it. You can take control. Use the tools that have been given to you on this program. Log back in and view previous shows. Kevin and Lewis has made it available. You can just log in to ItsWebTV.com, and you can see previous episodes on demand. Go back to the beginning. I believe my first show is probably still airing. I'm not sure, but I'm saying get these tips and tools and take them to heart. Use them. They're going to help you. I guarantee they will help you if you apply them to your life. And if you know that it's going to take you developing your own budget, you have to develop one that's going to work for you. Yes, the B word. I'm going to keep telling you about the B word. You're going to wake up thinking, I got a budget. A budget does not limit your spending. It gives you control and puts you in the driver's seat, and you get to tell your money where to go. And so that is going to be so important, because it's going to bring an awareness to you in other areas. Today, we're going to have, later on, someone's going to call in, and we're going to talk about credit repair. Listen, life happens and things happen, and you may find yourself where you have made some choices in the past that has affected where you are right now. But you don't have to stay there. If you have a bad credit report, or if you have some debt that you haven't resolved, it's not too late. It's now. We're going to start now. We're going to take charge of our debt. We're going to get our credit report. We're going to get, because your name is synonymous with you, and you want to have a good name. And so therefore, we're going to talk about credit repair. A little later, someone's going to call in who's in the industry, who's been doing it a while, and share with us some tips about credit repair. But in the meantime, we want to continue on our track to saving for Christmas. Yes, Christmas is coming, and we're now at the 159-day countdown. 159 days is going to be here before you know it. I promise you it will. So I encourage you, please, every week, to start saving toward Christmas. Do you have your envelope ready? Someone said, what envelope is that? I encourage you to get an envelope and label it Christmas. And so just put money in it as you get extra money, or make it a habit of just every time you get paid, put so much in it. Maybe you start off with $5. What I encourage you to do is sometimes, we want to bite off a big old chunk and do something real huge. Say, if I can't save $100, I'm not going to save anything. No, no, no. Start where you are. Start with $5. I always say 5. 5 is my favorite number to start with. 5 is grace. Thank God for grace, because I need grace every day. Hallelujah. But start with 5. $5. Can you save $5 a week? Of course you can. If you look at your budget and you look at your tracking and you look at what you're spending your dollars on, you can save $5. And what I love about it, once you start the habit of saving, you're going to get in the habit and you're going to love it. You're going to love knowing that you have some extra money somewhere set aside that you're not touching, and that you're able to access in emergency and in case you need it. So we talked about Christmas. Get your Christmas list. Start writing down the names. Even if you're not buying anything yet, write down the people you want to be a blessing to around Christmas time. If you have children, you know children are very precious and they want everything. Isn't that so wonderful? So we want to start preparing for our children now, and we want them to have a good time. So we know Christmas is not about gifts and things, but that's what we do, and it's a tradition, and that's what we do. So my thing is, plan for it, budget for it. Don't let it come unaware, and then you're all stressed out trying to buy a whole lot of gifts, and you're not prepared for it and put it in your budget. So we want to make sure you budget for Christmas. We also talked about the school year. Yes, school is coming. We have to budget for school. Those of us who have children in school, and the older they get, the more expensive their school items are. So start looking for those deals now. In the summer, I believe there are a lot of deals out there. You just have to search it out. You have to look it out. With access to the internet that we have nowadays, oh my gosh, you can find anything on the internet. It's just too much information. I tell you, it just can be overwhelming. But if you have a specific thing that you know that you want and you're looking for, you will be able to find it. Trust me. Sometimes we just have to put a little effort into our spending, into what we do, because you can find a good deal on items that you need and not pay premium dollars and still get quality things. They have resale shops and things of this nature, and they're vintage and they're good quality things. Do you know that you probably have something in your closet right now that is barely used and it's of good quality? You can go and resell that, and you can bring more income into your house. We've talked about managing what you have and bringing increase. We've discussed so many topics over the weeks. I'm just so excited and I'm just so full because we have so much that we've shared with you, and so many tips and tools. There's no excuse. If you need help, help is here. Help is here right now, and I need you to contact me. If you have any questions or concerns or comments you would like to make, feel free to contact me at Real Money Matters at Rachel R. Kennedy. Email me at realmoneymatters@rachelrkennedy.com. I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear your comments. Love to hear how these shows have helped you to get your finances in order. Today, I have a quote, and we're going to talk about our quote for today. And our quote today is by Zig Ziglar. Zig Ziglar is a financial famous person. And he said, if you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. If you don't do anything, it's guaranteed it will not get done. So what am I saying? I'm saying you have to take an active part in managing your money. You are the administrator. You are the manager of your finances, of your life. And it entails more than finances, but finance is a big part of our life because that's how we operate in this society that we're in. So we must learn the principles, we must learn the rules and the laws that govern our finances, the laws of economics. And that's what we've been discussing. I have this riddle. Oh my gosh, it's this riddle I ran across this week, and I have to read it to you and explain it. Listen very carefully. This was so powerful, and this is something that we're going to need to help us manage our finances. It's something that we're going to need to even help manage our life. So pay attention. I know it's going to be a little lengthy, but the title of it is, Who Am I? So I'm going to read this riddle, and you try to figure out who am I talking about, or what am I talking about, or the name that I'm talking about here, okay? So here it is. Who am I? I am your constant companion. I am your greatest helper or your heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I am at your command. Half of the tasks that you do might just as well turn over to me, and I will do them quickly and correctly. I am easily managed. You must merely be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done. After a few lessons, I will do it automatically. I am the servant of all great people, and alas, of all failures as well. Those who are great, I have made great. Those who are failures, I have made failures. I am not a machine, but I work with all the precision of a machine, plus the intelligence of a person. Now you may run me for profit, or you may run me for ruin. It makes no difference to me. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will lay the world at your feet. Be easy with me, and I will destroy you. Who am I? I know that's a lot. Oh my gosh. But who am I? I am called habit. Oh my goodness. It is our habits. It's what we do on a regular, consistent basis. It's our habits. Do we have them for good, or we have them for bad? It goes either way. You can have habits that will make you successful if you practice them consistently. The thing about a habit, it will happen automatically. Once you get into the routine of it, it will happen without you thinking about it. It'll just happen. And it can go on the bad side. You can have bad habits that will destroy your life, destroy you as a person. Our habits are so important. I'm coming to you to encourage you to have good habits. Wherever you are, change them. Change them now, because you're going to feel so much better. If you want to lose weight, guess what? You got to make a habit of what? Eating less food, consuming less calories, burning more calories than you consume. That's how you lose weight. How do you lose weight on your budget? How do you trim the fat on your expenses, your living costs? You have to consider those things. It's a habit. That's why I say start somewhere. Start somewhere with your savings. Get in the habit of saving. Don't think about the amount. Think about the activity of doing it consistently. Just making it a habit that is automatic, that you don't even think about it. You just do it because you know that's the right thing to do. So I thought that was a fabulous riddle. Oh my gosh, because it can make you or it can break you. And we have all these successful people talk about the 7 habits of being successful. You know, there are habits. And once you get one under control, then develop another one, and kind of do the juggling act. You want to get it into a place where you have good habits that are going to be productive to your life, that's going to add to your life. Because I tell you, finance is just one part. We're managers of our life. We have to think about our spirit, our soul, and our body, and our finances. We manage all of those, and we are in control. And it can be good or it can be bad. There's a quote that I heard, that's an anonymous quote, that I think about so often, and it says, if you can't be a good example, then you'll have to be a horrible warning. And you don't want to be a horrible warning. You want to be a good example. And that's why you're watching this show every week, coming to you with tips on how to financially get your life in order. We've talked about debt, and so I want to go back to there. Last week we talked about debt, and we've been talking about getting our finances in order over the course of developing. And so when you get into debt, debt allows your credit report and your credit ratings have a lot to do with the type of debt you can get in, and it affects your debt. So if you have loans and you have late payments and things of that nature, it's going to affect your credit. And we're going to talk about that a little later. I know I had someone calling in later on in the show, and we will talk about your credit repair. But I want to talk about a few things from last week besides the debt, because we talked about that. But I want to talk about organizing your finances. We talked about organizing your finances and getting them in a place where you know where you are. A lot of times you might even know where you have bills coming, you don't even know where they are because you just ignore them. But guess what? Ignoring your bills does not solve the problem. We have to acknowledge them. We have to know that we have bills and we have obligations and we want to meet them, and I know you want to. So what we have to do is get it in an organized fashion, because when they're scattered abroad and they're everywhere, some in the kitchen, some upstairs, some downstairs, some still in the mailbox, it can be overwhelming. I know paperwork can be overwhelming. So hopefully you remember some of the tips we talked about as far as developing a filing system that works for you. It may not be a conventional type of filing system, because maybe you think in a different manner, but you can have them alphabetically. You could do it by month. You could do it by the person you owe, or you can do it by tickler file. I talked to you about tickler file, and what is that? You number your files 1 through 30 through 31, and you can stick the bill in the due date. So if it's due on the 15th, then put it in the 15th, and to go into the file a few days before the 15th, because you don't want it to be late, because those late fees add up. We talked about balancing your checkbook, making sure. A lot of people are getting away from writing checks, but a lot of people still write checks. So if you're writing checks, when you're balancing your bank statement and you're balancing your account, sometimes you have to consider those checks that are outstanding that haven't cleared your bank yet. So those are things that help you organize. Know where your money is. Know how much you have. We talked about living on less than what we make. Living on less, that is a challenge that I have for you. Live on less than what you take in. I challenge you also to write down everything before you even before you start distributing your money. Spend it on paper first. Know where every dollar is going. Tell every dollar where to go. Spend the whole dollar, even for blow money. If you want to if you can set aside so much money each pay or however that you want to blow, and it's okay because you're telling you that. But don't go overboard and don't spend too much and don't go outside your budget, because your first obligation is your bills. Those things that you've committed yourself to pay, you want to pay those first. And then what you want to do is you want to find a way to reduce the cost of the regular monthly bill. Some of the things you can change. You may be paying rent somewhere. You may be able to find a house that maybe you can pay less for. But know that there are a lot of other hidden costs when you buy a house. So there's other things you consider as well. But I'm just saying, identify where you can cut back, because if you look close enough, I believe we can find areas that we can cut back at. Something as simple as taking your lunch. You think, oh, that's not going to save, but it does. Find meals that you can make at home that will stretch, that will go over a couple days or so, and then you can take them for lunch as well. Pastas are good like that. You can do a good pasta and it will last you, 2 and 3 days. Think about that, because what we want to do is we want to prepare now. We want to live now like no one, so later we can live like no one. What does that mean? We're going to make sacrifices now with our finances. We're going to make sacrifices now so that later we can have a place where we have access and we have abundance and we have more money. Did you not know that you can't even get more money until you save money? You can't even get into an abundant place. You can't be in a place if you don't even have surplus. Surplus comes when we spend less than what we make. We have to think surplus. That's going to be your new best friend. Surplus, surplus, surplus. We want surplus. In order to do that, you have to spend less than you make. So keep that in mind. Every time you get some money, from your paycheck or from whatever source of income that you have, Think about surplus. Think about, how can I have extra at the end of the day? How can I save? You want to begin to save towards an emergency fund. You want to save toward your future. There is so many opportunities out there that you can do some investments. But guess what? If you don't have a surplus, you can't invest. And when you get to a place where you have surplus, where you can invest, then you get to begin to become and get abundance in your life. Then it begins to multiply. And once you get abundance, that abundance can take you to a wealthy place. Don't you want to go to a wealthy place? Well, it starts first with surplus. And surplus comes when you spend less than what you make. So we are talking about organizing your finances. Know what you owe. Know what your debt is. Begin to start paying it off. Pay off the smallest one. I'm telling you, get your smallest debt that you owe. Maybe it's $200, $100, maybe it's $1,000. I don't know. Identify your smallest debt that you owe, your credit card or loan or some kind of payment of that nature, and then pay it off. You're going to feel so much better. You're going to feel so much better once you pay that off. Get a stamp saying paid in full because I'm paying this off. Celebrate the fact that you've used the discipline and you've used the tips and the examples that we've given you over the weeks on how to eliminate. I want you to be in a place of peace in your financial life, because that's going to bring peace in other areas. I tell you, 50% of people worry about their money. And so we're going to take the worry out of that by developing the budget. Again, the B word, that works for you. So keep that in mind. I'm going to get that in your mind. I'm going to continue to say that. I challenge you. I want you to be successful. I want you to prosper. I want you to feel good of that. You've made better choices that's going to bring quality of life to you. You want a quality of life where you can be able to be a blessing and help others. And you can't do that without surplus. So we talked about developing a good organizing your finances. Know where everything is. Spend every dollar before you get it. Know what your limits are. Know that whatever your habits are, good or bad, is going to determine the outcome of your life, the results of your life. So we want to keep that in mind as we move on to prepare for our caller who's going to call in about debt and how to repair your credit. Repair your credit. Don't feel bad if you're there in that place. Know that you can bring correction. There's always hope. There's always a chance. But you have to take responsibility. And leading up to that, I'd like to talk about another thing we have to have when we deal with our business matters and our financial matters is honesty and integrity. Oh my goodness. Honesty in our integrity. Can we be trusted in our dealings? That is a big responsibility that we have. Are we lying about our bills? Or the bill collector's calling you and you ring, hello, can I speak to Rachel? She not here. I mean, I'm not, I don't know. You know, are you tongue tied? You know, are you standing behind the door and the children are answering the door and they see your feet and you say, tell them I'm not home. You know, be honest. If you owe someone, be honest, admit it. You know, if you can't pay them, talk it to them. You know, a lot of times people just want to know that, hey, that you acknowledge the fact that I owe you some money. I know, you know, I have a grandson and he was when he was really young, you know, he would get in trouble with his mom, and his mom would say, you know, was going to get him one time. He did something really bad. He was like, but Mom, he's like, I want to be good. You know, a lot of times we obligate ourselves to things and we mean to pay them. And I want to be good and I want to pay it. But life happens, everyone. Life happens. And so we have to find a way to regroup yourself, get back up and say, okay, yeah, I'm the one, you know, I'm guilty. I did this, you know, and right now I'm not in a place to be able to pay it right now, but listen, I have a plan. Give them your plan. Let them know, hey, I'm cutting back here, I'm cutting back there, I'm making some reductions, I'm going to take my lunch and I would say $5 so I can send you something on this bill. Be honest and be real, and don't condemn yourself, because we've all made mistakes. We've all done things and obligate ourselves to situations, and then things happen. You may have lost your job. You may have not gotten the raise you were expecting or anything, or you just over obligated yourself, and that happens. So don't stay there. Get up and know that you can change and you can do better. So honesty, integrity. Honesty is the quality, condition, or characteristic of being fair, truthful, and morally upright. So just be truthful. Just be honest. And you know who most of all we have to be honest with? Ourselves. Be honest with yourself. You know, people are going to say and think whatever they're going to say and think. Your concern is you, and that you're in a right place, and that you're in a place where you can be trusted. Yeah, I messed up, but you can always rebuild that. You can rebuild that trust, and you can do that. So integrity is the quality of possessing and steadfastly adhering to high moral principles or professional standards. So your integrity, your principles, you want to be a person of integrity, that people know that they can trust you and they can count on you not to tell or not to go outside of your confidentiality in that matter. So at this point, I believe we are going to maybe take a short break and come back, because I am excited about this caller who's going to be calling in and talking to us about debt credit repair, and I believe she will be calling in shortly. So we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back. Tell someone Real Money Matters is on the air. We're going to talk about credit repair. Everybody, you want to hear this, so stay tuned and come back. Money Matters. Rachel Kennedy here. We are here today, and we have a live call-in person who has a specialty in credit repair. And so today, my sister in the Lord, Allie Sanders, she's here with us. Are you there, Allie?
I am.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you for calling in. How are you today?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, I appreciate you calling in. I know this is an area that is very important for people to have good credit. So first of all, why don't you just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been doing this and why you're doing this?
Okay, wonderful. Again, I'd like to thank you again for allowing me an opportunity to be a part of your show. I've actually been tuning in this morning, and it's been a great show, a lot of helpful tips regarding money management and budgeting. So again, I just want to say that you're doing a phenomenal job in bringing all of this wealth of information to the people all across the country.
Wow, thank
again,
you.
my name is Allie Sanders, and I am a credit repair or credit restoration expert. I've been in the business of credit restoration and education for about 10 years.
Wow.
I actually was in the boat, as many are right now, where my credit was at a disadvantage. So with that being said, I needed credit repair back in the early 2000s. And so I sought out, some different companies to see what they could do for me. I found a company back in 2002, and they produced amazing results in, restoring my credit.
Wow.
They were true to what they said they could do. I paid a fee, and they were able to help me. And unbeknownst to me, at that time, I did not know that my credit was that bad. So when they pulled my reports and, we did the consultation and everything, it was pretty bad. And so I went through their 6 months to a year program. And once I went through that program, I received about 80% deletions off of my credit report.
Wow.
And I was a believer. So in me being a believer, they had a multi-level marketing partnership with that company where you could partner with them to market credit restoration to all of the people that you know.
Wow.
And in doing so, I signed up because I was a believer, so I said I can help a lot of other people and just refer them to the company. I did that, but again, unbeknownst to me, about 6 months later, the company abruptly shut down.
Wow.
So all of the clients that I had brought in were being unserviced. The company shut down, closed their doors without any news, without any, they didn't tell us anything. They just shut their doors. So all of the clients that I had brought in actually started calling me saying, hey, I want my money back and this and that. And I was letting them know I was only representing the company, didn't know that they had financial trouble.
Wow.
And so, I prayed and I said, God, I brought in so many people. What do I do? And, God spoke to my spirit, and he said, you can do this yourself.
Wow.
You help them.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, oh, my God, how do I help them? And so I went back. I did all of my review of all of the, the disputes, the disputing process and all of that. So I began to reach out to the clients that I brought into this company.
Okay.
And that's how my credit business, ACS, Credit Education and Restoration, came into play, actually.
Wow, that is a wonderful story. And isn't that something, how we go through things and we think we're doing it for ourselves, and we're really doing it to help others. I love that. I never knew that about you. That is an excellent, I love that. So tell me, what is the percentage of consumers that have errors? Are there errors in our credit reports?
Absolutely. There are so many people. I mean, it's almost like 1 out of every 2 people that you see have something inaccurately reporting on their credit report.
Wow.
And there was a new government study that was released some months ago, and it actually indicated that as many as 40 million Americans have mistakes on their credit reports, and out of those 40 million, 20 million of them have significant mistakes that are actually reducing their chance to acquire credit and hindering their credit worthiness. So it's a huge epidemic. It's almost equivalent, or if I should say, even probably more so than identity theft.
Wow, I never knew that. So what type of errors do they have that are on their reports?
Some of the things that most people will see on their credit report is a lot of outdated information, so things that have passed the 7-year statute of limitation reporting requirement. There is a 7-year statute of limitations, and that's in accordance with the Fair Credit Reporting Act, that a debt that is negative or adversely affecting your credit can only stay on your credit 7 years, but it's actually 7 years from the date of the first delinquency or last activity, and that's what people don't know. So it's not 7 years from the date that you receive the credit card, but it's 7 years from the date of the first delinquency, or actually the last time you paid it and you went into default. Other things that we see is duplicate accounts, where people have duplicate accounts on their credit report, and it's reporting 2 and 3 times because that particular creditor sold it to 2 or 3 collection agencies. And then now it's a lot of identity theft things that are going on, so people acquiring credit in other people's names and not taking care of the debt. So obviously that's also coming up on people's credit reports as well.
Wow. So then the credit report errors can be corrected. That's what you do, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely. People think that credit repair is a bad word, and they kind of shy away from it. They almost, say that it can happen, or it's not right, or that's not legal, but it's very legal. I mean, if anybody does their homework and they, go on the websites and they look at the laws that have been put in place to protect us as consumers, credit restoration is a very legal business that one can enter into and get and receive great results. Credit repair works. It actually works. It's just a disputing process, and it actually works. And a person can do it themselves, but the reason why they choose people, credit experts like me, is because a lot of people don't know the ins and outs of all of the laws.
Right, yeah, and it can be time-consuming. I'm sure it takes a lot of time going back and forth. And so I really admonish people to, stick with the experts. If that's not an area of comfort and expert for you, there are resources and people available, because they have, like even when I talked about the debt, they have debt counselors. If you can't do it on your own, then seek help. Help is here. And so that's why I appreciate what you do, because you help people to get themselves in a better place. Now, why is it so important for us to have good credit anyways?
Well, credit, in the world that we live in, credit is basically your namesake. I mean, your name is always attached to your credit, and your 9-digit Social Security number is attached to your name. So, even the Bible talks about having a good name, but along with that is you have to have, unfortunately, we all are assessed a 9-digit Social Security number, and it can be for the good or it can be for the bad. And a lot of things nowadays are acquired through credit. Now, credit is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that, it's a way that people are able to borrow money for a specified amount of time and then pay it back on a payment arrangement, which actually increases your credit score. Wow. So it's all about what's being reported to the 3 major credit bureaus, and that's why credit is so important. Now, you were saying in your show, cash is king, and you're absolutely correct. I admonish people, if you have cash, pay cash for it, because too much credit can also be a deficit to your credit worthiness as well. So, credit is important, and having good credit, good sound credit, staying on time with all of your debts will put you in a win-win situation every time.
Yes, and nowadays, jobs, people go for jobs and they check your credit. Your insurance companies, some of them, they check your credit. They're looking for your honesty, your integrity in your personal affairs. That's going to affect the other parts of your life. They figure if you're not, credit worthy, then maybe you're not going to do a good job on if I hire you to do a job, you might not be worthy of that, So, I mean, it's other things that now that they didn't even hear of that back in the day. They'd interview. Now, jobs, they want to check your credit. Oh, my gosh.
Absolutely, and especially if you're working in any type of financial industry, it's becoming more and more prevalent that employers now are checking credit. They're not just checking investigative reports to find out your background on who you are, but they're also checking your credit, because if you're a liability to yourself, they don't want to bring you into their job, especially in a financial industry, knowing that there's a chance that, you may get to the end of your rope and then you may compromise your position at the job or compromise that company, through stealing. We hear about stories like that all the time.
Right.
And that's why it's so important to build up your credit, but it's so important to correct those errors that are actually in your credit report. And it can be done. I tell people all the time, people think people like us are hoaxes, like we're fake, like it doesn't work. I get it all the time. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, but it does. Have you tried it? Most people have connected themselves to the wrong people that have charged them astronomical amounts of money to get one or two things off.
Yeah.
You know, that's usury. You
Yes.
don't want to use people. You
Right.
want to help people, and I'm all about helping people.
And that's what I love about, and that's the thing, you have to do the research, and it's always good when you know someone personally, you know, that has done something and been successful at it, where you can refer them, and that's what we need to do. We need to help one another, network with one another, know that you have a good service, and I definitely look forward to collaborating more with you in the future as I do more seminars and do more things with finances, because this is such an important part, and I realize that that's not my area of expertise, so I'm not going to try to do it.
Right.
And
yeah.
so
You
what-
stay in your, always tell
Yes.
people, just stay in the lane that God called you
Yes.
to, and that's what I try to do.
Definitely. Now, what are the three major credit bureaus out there?
There's three major credit bureaus that all of the creditors and lenders use across the country. There is Equifax, and they're located in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
There is Experian. They're located in Allen, Texas. And then you have TransUnion, and they're located in Chester, Pennsylvania. So there's three credit bureaus that houses all of our information.
Okay. Now, are there? Now we hear on these commercials about free credit reports. Is there? Can we get free credit reports now, or how does that work?
You can. Now, I'm a little biased to the particular websites that an individual can go to acquire their credit report. You know, the government has put in place a website which is www.annualcreditreport.com in place for all consumers across the country to be able to ascertain their credit report without having to pay a fee.
Wonderful.
These other websites, I'm not against them. My only thing is this, is when you go on there, you still have to essentially put in your credit card information so that you can have access to all three, which actually comes with a score, and then you have to cancel out of that program so that they don't continually charge you. So no, I am not a big advocate of some of your big names that you hear on TV because they are good while they are providing you with your credit report and your score. What they're doing is they're asking you to set it up on a reoccurring fee so that you can be monitored and always have access. Well, to make a long story short, if you just want to see real quick what's in your credit report, you simply go to, annualcreditreport.com.
Okay.
And they will provide you with your credit report, and then you can purchase your score, but it's a one-time fee. So if you want your score from any of the three bureaus, it's usually about $7.95, and they don't hold your credit card information, and it's not a recurring fee.
Okay. Wow, that's great information to know. So annualcreditreport.com. You can, and that's through the government, you said? And they offer
that's something that's the Federal Trade Commission. Wonderful. Because of all of the, there's laws that protect us as consumers. There are laws in place, and one of the things that they passed years ago is they wanted individuals in the country to have access to their credit report without being charged for it. So now everybody has access to acquire their credit report without being charged at least every 12 months. Wow. And then also, if you're denied credit, employment, or insurance, and they check your credit and it caused a hard inquiry on your credit report, you have access now to obtain that particular credit report to see what it was in there that was hindering you. So it's not just every 12 months that you can receive your credit report. Okay. You can actually go back in, more than, once a year to look at your credit report. If you've been denied credit, employment, or insurance, you can have access that way as well. And I'm an advocate. I check my credit report, every month. I'm on my Credit Plus. I have a great product in place that also alerts me anytime something is coming on my credit report, and anytime my debts are paid, and anytime something, is reporting. I have a monitoring system in place as well, so I'm always in the know about my credit.
Wow, this is such good information. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. So tell me, what is a good credit rating, and what does it mean, even the ratings? I know they throw these numbers up and things. So what's a good rating, and what do those numbers mean?
Well, there are different rating systems. You have what is called the FICO scoring system, and that comes from a software that was developed by the Fair Isaac and Company. And basically, scores and things like that, it comes from a generated computer module. It's a module that they use, and that's why when you go to different lenders and you acquire credit, your score may be 650 here, but then you go to Macy's and you open up an account and it's 620. I mean, because there's so many different models, scoring modules that each lender use. They don't always use the FICO scoring system. Some of them have their own scores in place that they grade people by. But the most common scoring system is the FICO scoring system, and that system ranges anywhere from 300 to 850. But then the credit bureau, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax actually created another scoring system that's called the Vantage Score. And the Vantage Score is a different rating system. It starts at 501 and goes all the way up to 990. So it's kind of like people get confused. Okay, well, where am I? Well, just know this. And this is what I always tell people. Anything over 700, that's your medium mark. Anything over 700 is considered great credit, okay? Anything close to 800 and above is A credit. You have an A-plus credit rating. Anything between 5 and 650 and 675, you're like a C-grade credit. And those scores do matter depending on who you go to. As you know, different lenders carry different weight. If you're going to buy a car, of course, the higher the score, the better the interest rate. But if you're going into Macy's and getting a $300 credit limit, then your 500 credit score may work for them. So it just depends on the debt that you're trying to acquire and the weight that it holds when you're trying to acquire that debt.
Wow. Oh, my gosh. That sounds like a lot. So you deal with the negative. So we understand there are errors, and some are errors, things in our credit report. Some are errors and some are truthful. But you know a way to, how do you deal with the negative items? That's just part of what you do, correct? And what some are the negative items that would be on your credit report?
Well, here's the thing. Even though, and this is the misconception that we as people have, even though you owe a debt, how do we always know that that debt is reporting accurately? I give this example all the time. Say you have a Capital One charge account, and that Capital One went into default, you start paying it, and it went to a charge-off status. First, it went to charge-off through Capital One, and then Capital One sold it or transferred it to a third-party collection agency. So now you have Capital One reporting, and you have ABC, I'm just giving a name, ABC Collection Company. But when you look at that debt, you say, well, Allie, that is my debt, and I really do owe it. And then I say, well, take a look at that debt again, and I say, is everything that they're reporting on your credit report accurate with that debt? And when I look at the amount that they're reporting, I'll say, do you really owe $524? And they will say, well, I think I do. That's not the question I ask. Do you really owe $524? And then they say, well, I'm not really sure if that's the exact amount. Well, then if you don't know if that's the exact amount, wouldn't that give you a right to dispute, issue or initiate a dispute to the Bureau to make sure that they are doing their job in reporting accurate information? So here's the deal. We're not saying that you don't owe the debt, but we need to make sure that what the creditor is reporting that you do owe is correct, because every penny matters. Every dollar matters. And the more you owe, the less your credit score. Even if they're off by a penny, they need to either delete that or correct it to make sure that they are reporting accurate information. And that's where I come in at. I help my clients. I do self-help, where I show you how to dispute your own, credit reports and things like that. I also, get involved in my client's credit, and I actually do all of the work for them. But either way it goes, there is a dispute that you can initiate anytime you feel that something is being reported inaccurately, or you have there's a chance that you're saying that maybe that's not the right amount. So, people come to me all the time and say, well, I really do owe it, but I always ask them to verify the amount. Tell me that you know that you owe, $600. You may owe $599.99, and they're reporting $600. So that's inaccurate. They're reporting inaccurate information.
Wow.
So that's what my company does. We go in, we educate the consumers first. It's not about, taking their money or anything like that, but we educate them first to share with them what they need to look out for when they're reviewing their credit reports. And then we go in and we challenge those inaccurate items or obsolete items or outdated items on their credit report.
Wow, I tell you, oh my gosh. And that's the thing. Knowledge, the lack of knowledge destroys us. The Bible says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And that is why I appreciate what you do, because we bring an awareness and a knowledge to people. We generally want people to do better and feel better. And so I know there's probably so much more you could go on about this, but tell us, how can they contact you? If our listeners here want to go through that credit repair, how do we contact you in order to get your services?
Absolutely. Well, I have a direct line, and because I've been doing this now, like I said, my company has been up and running for 10 years now. I've had ACS Credit Education and Consulting since 2003.
Okay.
They can contact me directly, and I take all of my customers' calls, and I always tell people, if you don't reach me right away, leave a message. But my direct phone number is area code 248-991-5065. Again, that's area code 248-991-5065. And I'm very good about returning calls and getting back with people. I always ask that you leave a message because I do get so many calls. And not to mention that I do have another business that it's kind of my career as well. So I'm managing two businesses. And the other way is, if you're, a tech person and you're always on your phone, you can also text me, or you can send me an email. And the email is very simple. It's ACS, which is the name of my company. It's ACS, CAN, help, HELPYOU. So ACS can help you at yahoo.com. And those are the two most important ways that you can get in contact with me immediately.
Oh, I love that. Very good. Thank you so much again for calling in. Do you have any final thoughts or comments you'd like to say before we reschedule you to come back again?
No, yeah. I really appreciate the opportunity. I never take it lightly when people ask me to come and speak on their shows or things like that. And I always tell people, even if you want to know more about credit, I've been an instructor at the community college here now going on 4 or 5 years now.
Wow.
So I actually teach credit repair, so you can learn how to repair your own credit, and I teach it at the Wayne County Community College.
Excellent.
So those individuals out there who are wanting to do it themselves and get more knowledge and understanding about the whole credit industry, you should come and take my class. I teach it every fall and every spring, and you can go right to the WC3 website. It's right up under my name, Allie Sanders. I'm an approved instructor there. I have been for about 4 years now, and the class is called Credit Repair. So again, if you want more knowledge, you can also take my class. I will be teaching this fall as well. And generally, I always teach at the Northwest campus. So, again, you can do that. But I want to tell people out there, don't be afraid to look at your credit report, because people always tell me, well, I don't want to look at my credit report. It's just so bad. It's just too bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not as bad as it seems. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's just not. And people, we become so frantic. And sometimes it's just the little itty-bitty steps that you can take to repair your own credit on your own by, number one, managing your money, which is what you're teaching us to do, and budget and telling your money where to go instead of you just overspending and overexerting yourself, and then finding yourself in a situation where now you have collections reporting because you haven't paid the debt. So, take control of your credit. And so my tip today is just get your credit report. Let's start there. Let's just start with the basics. It's not anything long and drawn out. I want everybody to go on www.annualcreditreport.com and go ahead and retain all 3 credit reports. That's the first thing that you want to do. And the rest will be easy, and you can always call me. I do phone consultations right over the phone. I give you a 5-minute phone consultation, and I can tell you right where you stand within 5 minutes.
Wow, that is so wonderful. Thank you again so much, Allie. I want everybody out there listening, go to the website there and get your annual report, annualreport.com. That's what it is?
Yes, www.annualcreditreport.com.
All right, log in there. That's the first step. We're going to take the first step, and we're going to do that, and we're going to contact her at 248-991-5065, and then you can also email her at acscanhelpyou@yahoo.com. Thanks so much for calling in, Allie. You have yourself a wonderful day, and we'll look forward to talking to you later, okay?
Thank you again for having me. Great show, and I'll talk with you soon.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow. Oh, my gosh. That was a wealth of information. We have to get our credit report. Like I said, jobs, they look at your credit report. Bill collectors, insurance agencies, they look at your credit report. So this is so important. This is the first step. We're going to get our report, and we're going to get our things in order. And a lot of times, even with our bills, we shy away from things thinking, oh, it's just too bad and it's too astronomical. But the first step is admitting it. Once we know what we have, we can deal with it and we can manage it. So until next week, I know we covered a lot. Hopefully you've got some good tips. Make sure you share this information with someone. Until next week, remember, your money matters. It matters what you make. It matters what you spend. It matters what you save. It matters how you manage the money that has been entrusted to you. Remember, it's your money. Make it count. Until next week, thanks for tuning in.